So we went down and did that, and we managed to completely change, because the CQB cell at the time was stuck in the old way of doing things. Some
Yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
the attack scenarios were done from years ago. So the chief instructor, who's also an ex-B squadron lad, we sort of sat with him and said, "Listen, we need to change." Because one of the big training things down there was the situational awareness training.
Yeah.
They do a basic package, and then they do an advanced package, and it's like being on the streets of Belfast. And if you get it wrong, you're going to get jumped on, and you're going to get a good kicking, because it was all before the health and safety got involved in it.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So we used to get a lot of injuries going through it. Some scary moments with the shooting, because you were having to train non-special forces people. It was for the 14 int people, really.
Yeah, yeah.
Up to a standard that they were the same as SES people shooting pistols.
Yeah.
So the learning curve was, massive, if that makes sense. And so some of the things we used to do on the ranges were quite dodgy, to say the least, quite dangerous. But they had to have that confidence, because once they finished our course, they were straight over into Belfast or into South, or doing it for real. So there was no pussyfooting about. They had to get it right first time. And unfortunately, with that, you get close calls. I've seen a girl shoot over the top of a paratrooper, and his hair literally parted with a 9mm round between his hair. But it was his fault, because but we had it videoed. It was his fault because he should have made contact with her before it stood up and moved, because they were both on the same side of a street. So you imagine, so one's got to be down and one's over the top, and then you reverse it. And if you get that wrong, you're going to get hurt. Now we were millimeters away from having somebody shot in the head there. But it was a good learning curve, because we video all the scenarios, because it, you need people to learn from it. When people saw it, flipping, oh, that was close. But lessons learned. Make sure you do what we tell you. You make sure you do. Don't get it wrong, because the consequences of getting this wrong is fatality. This is serious stuff now. You're teaching people to go on an operational tour. So the learning curve was massive, and that was a massive enjoyment. Thoroughly enjoyed it. And I was working with a lad called Kev Jones, who sadly passed away not that long ago. But having him, we were a fantastic team, both very mature, very easygoing, pretty relaxed. Made the students sort of, because they were coming from when they were over at doing the surveillance, they were under a lot of pressure.
It's intense.
And then doing close target recce, is quite intense. So when they come to us, we had a lot more relaxed atmosphere, but the consequences of getting something wrong was a fatality. Unlike surveillance, you get something wrong in surveillance, get something wrong in CTR, get something wrong on our end, you're going to get hurt. So having that embedded in their head, was quite a large learning curve. So thoroughly enjoyed it, and it also gave me the opportunity. I managed to go up to Scotland for 3 months to do a security manager's diploma, just prior to leaving.
And that's interesting, because I want to just check on there, because at this point you must be thinking about what's happening in Civvy Street now. You've had a distinguished career in the military, and by and large you know nothing else but the military at this stage, do you? So what's going on in your head? What's Kim thinking? What are your kids thinking? What's happening?
Well, it's funny, because my initial thought was I wanted to join the UN. really because I hated the UN at the time and I just thought it was all wrong.
Yeah.
And I thought I can make a difference here, by joining the UN. So I applied, and they actually sent me a contract. So bear in mind that I was now a staff sergeant in the SS, or W2 in my shadow rank.
Yeah.
I sent my CV off, went to New York, and I got a phone call saying, "Oh, have you got a fax machine? We're going to fax you a contract through." Blah blah blah, and the contract came through, and it's just reams of typical UN, reams and reams of paper.
JoelTeams.com is a resource I have created to fulfill my mission to help 1 million veterans and business entrepreneurs like you achieve the goals, dreams, and aspirations they deserve. JoelTeams.com is jam-packed full of valuable resources specifically designed to help you on your journey to success. Visit JoelTeams.com now to find out how you can join and start your journey to success immediately. That's JoelTeams.com, JoelTeams, JoelTeams.com. And until we meet again, have a brilliant day.